Today in the episode, we introduce a new segment, Building 101, and try to build the worst car ever. Voice of the Wasteland, where we read your messages and choose the craft of the episode. And a new segment number 2, because why not, special, a peek into the future of the game. Sometimes you find the weirdest things in your own garage. A body of a gun you never had, some parts of unknown origin, or even something like, oh, sorry, can't even show you this one. Anyway, we're talking about things that cannot be easily defined or don't really fit into any proper category. This segment, Special, is created specifically for cases like that. And today we're going to use it to look into the future. Not just any future, of course, just the future of the game, or more specifically, the future involving the upcoming update. Obviously, we can't tell you everything about the patch. Everybody likes a little bit of surprise, after all. But we'll show you the juiciest bits. Where are we, though? Looks like the land we claimed, but something changed. Yup, here's our prophecy. Survivors will discover their talent for building and construction. And that's not cars we're talking about. Players will start to design and build their own shooting ranges. Fully customizable shooting ranges, to be exact. Speaking of customizing things, just take this thing, for example, and place it here. Or this thing, a special apparatus that summons AI enemies. Come forth, my not-so-dangerous foes. Even with just a couple of objects, you can make your place look like this. Or like this. Or even like this. Spoiler alert, we're adding more than just a couple of objects. Well, you'll have to test it yourself. There's a rumor that eventually there will be a lot of beautiful decorators and special interactive objects available to you, allowing for all sorts of crazy shenanigans. But we don't know if that's true or not. Wink, wink. And now the best part. It'd be sad if you were the only person that could see it or play with it. So here's the thing. It seems like you'll be able to come to your friends' hideouts to check them out and determine who's the better builder once and for all. We presume that you already know who's better at destroying things. Getting into another person's house is very easy. You can do that through a link in the chat, or by selecting it as an option after right-clicking on your friend. Just like that. And here you are, as a guest of honor. My house is prettier though. Just joking, just joking. I didn't have the opportunity to build anything yet. We're sharing the same timeline after all. One last thing. It looks like the era of the builders is going to start really soon. Start scavenging them rusty barrels, skulls, and breeze blocks. It is almost the time to build. And now, a short commercial break.
They told you there's nothing better than the Large Decorative Grill 2. They were right. Large Decorative Grill 2. Still the best product on the market according to people who like grills.
On the endless roads of the wastes, survivors can only rely on 3 things: their car, their weapon, and themselves. We've been talking a lot about different weapons, but never really discussed general principles of car building. We changed that today. This is Building 101, a new segment dedicated specifically to the art of car building, with tips and tricks that might save your life on your journey through the Wasteland. The first topic we're going to cover in this segment is how to build a car that is guaranteed to blow up within the first 20 seconds of any match. Wait, is this the right script? What? What reverse psychology? Okay, I got it. Please stop prodding me with your shotgun. So, here it goes. If you want to kick the bucket as soon as the fight starts, you need to follow just a few simple rules. First, don't plan shit. Building a vehicle is all about being in the moment. Old geezers might disagree, but there are only 2 reliable ways to get a cool car. Either you just slap all the parts you have on top of each other, or make a car that can do a bit of literally everything. Specialization? Never heard of her. If you actually try to make a car that is good at something specific, a nuclear devil will come for your soul. We warned you. Next, the other important thing you have to know is that building a car is all about sending a message. The message being, I am the baddest guy in the wastes and fear no man. Feel free to expose your explodey bits, or even better, put them right in the front. Generators, ammo crates, barrels, anything that goes boom. The more, the better. Put all your armor in the back, where it doesn't protect any of your critical modules. Your rear is safe now. And don't even think about using grills. Who cares if they're partially shot through? Have you seen how fragile they are? You don't need that in your life. Next, we need a couple of steering wheels, but only a couple, and all on one side. Why, you ask? Because turning is for indecisive people. A true red-blooded survivor only advances. Mount your guns on the most fragile parts you have at your disposal. That's how you maximize your glory gains. Don't even attempt to cover weapons with any kind of armor. That just limits your elevation angles and makes it harder to aim. Oh, all your armor is already in the rear? Excellent. A very important part of any build is choosing the right paint for the job. We suggest that you should make all your cars bright red. That makes them go faster, you know? And paint your weapons, bright yellow. Oh, that's pretty. Almost like it's on fire. One last thing, never, and I repeat, never rebuild or modify your car after a fight to make it better. That's just a waste of your time. A much better option is to go into your next match right away. Maybe you'll get better teammates, a more beneficial map, and will finally be able to unlock your car's hidden potential. The first question comes from Tom Payne. Are you gonna have moving parts in Crossout, like flippers? Hi, Tom. We're very interested in that, but that'd require us to overcome some technical constraints that the game currently has. So, no promises here. Xendor Dawnburst writes, creating beasts like Leviathans is a big part of our experience in Crossout. The only problem is we don't really know how well they do, especially when we don't see how well our drivers perform. Is there any chance we could get the ability to watch the performance post-battle? Hi, Xendor. Yeah, that's an aspect of the game that we are very keen on improving. Right now, straight-up replays are out of the question as this is a very expensive feature, and in the Wastes, resources are scarce. But we're experimenting with different ways you can test your Leviathan to see if it operates properly or not. And you can expect a change allowing you to get more detailed information on your Leviathan's performance with one of the upcoming updates. Hope that helps. Next up is the question by a survivor called Cheese on Vase. Hey guys, have you thought about being able to raise or lower a wheel's suspension? One of the core design principles of the game is that it should be relatively easy to pick up. With that idea in mind, we don't have any parts in the game that can or should be tinkered with after you put them on your vehicle, so no adjustable suspension, at least for now. Then there's this message by Mr. A. He says, I have an idea. Why don't you add a queue specifically for Bedlam servers? When you join a Bedlam brawl, you join a random server and it's very hard to play with a friend. But if there are queues, and you can choose which server to join, it becomes easy to do art build fusions in Bedlam or other things like that. Thanks for reading. Hi. The requested feature requires quite a lot of work, a lot of resources and time. We're very fond of game modes that are more about creativity though, so we will look into that. Finally, Ptolemaic Foxo asks, can we all just think a bit about how he called a shopping cart sexy? Am I the only one freaking out about this? Wasteland shopping carts are sexy though. Change my mind. And now the last and probably the most important part of the show, where we show you one craft from the exhibition, even though we want to pick at least 10. So many great builds. Ugh. This time we chose this beauty right here. Grinder Brick 2 by Master Blogus. Where should we even begin? First, notice the unusual placement of summators. That's cool, all right. Second, this car travels on 2 meat grinders. Not impressive, you say? Everyone does it, you say? Just look at the way they're mounted. Oof, what a car. Thanks for making us giggle in excitement with your excellent engineering skills, Mr. Blogus. Great job. That's it for today. Tell us what you think in the comments below. Ask us questions. And if we somehow stop slapping meat grinders on everything we see, we'll return with some new crazy content in a couple of weeks. If you like what we're doing, consider subscribing, leave a like, and good luck!